Welcome to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Now here along with Dr. Bonati, your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Well, thank you for tuning in to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our friend and executive producer of the radio program, Ethan Euchre.
Here as always, it's a pleasure.
Yes, and across from me, we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati. Well, thank you for being here. Most people aren't really aware, well, some are. Some that have been longtime listeners of the program are aware of Dr. Bonati's contribution to spine surgery. For those that aren't, he started off in invasive open spine surgery, and he didn't like the results that it was yielding for the patients, and that bothered him. And he wanted to find a way to bring true patient relief. So he set out and he developed his own methods and instrumentation. They are patented procedures, patented tools to bring relief for those suffering with back pain. And he's able to do so utilizing his procedures called the Bonati spine procedures. And what's great is the anesthesia. It's called conscious IV sedation, where you're somewhat awake, aware, and alert, and in constant communication with the surgeon. And that helps the doctor and the patient really work together during the surgery to be able to get to that exact root of the pain and help you regain your strength and get back in motion. So thank you for your contribution to medicine, because without you, well, we wouldn't be doing the show, and there wouldn't be anything called minimally invasive. And that's the other thing I wanted to touch on. Minimally invasive, that's only an approach, and approaches are different. And there's minimally invasive this way, and now there's the Bonati spine procedures, and they're way over here. Nobody else does what Dr. Bonati does. So if they try to pretend they do, tell them you want Bonati. And if there's no Bonati, pick up the phone and call the Institute itself. On a different note, we're going to tell you the exciting show we have. We have New York Times bestselling author of The Brain That Changes Itself, Dr. Norman Doidge. Oh, see, I know. It's like it's in my mind now. It's a mental block.
He's going to be good, though. He had a book written a few years back that has been called The Best Book About the Brain Written for the Public Ever. So, that's some pretty high praise. So.
Yeah, how the brain has a way of healing itself.
Yeah.
And Betsy McCoffey. So she's going to discuss, and this is going to be a fun topic, ways of beating Obamacare.
Yeah, and people from anybody from New York, whether they're a transplant or live in New York, they'll probably know who Betsy McCoffey is. She was the former lieutenant governor under Pataki. I'm from New York State, so she's a Republican, very much against Obamacare, hence the book
from the onset.
Beating Obamacare.
Yeah, and then we'll hear what's new in American medicine today. But up first,
in today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
Well, we would like to welcome our in-studio guest, Roy Christopherson from Spring Hill, Florida. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you have quite a story to tell. So why don't you start with how you came to be in pain and what that pain was like? Describe it so people that are going through it themselves, they understand that there is hope.
I'm very pleased to be here and sitting across from Dr. Bonati. I have been a chronic pain sufferer for over 15 years.
Okay.
I had several accidents, and I used to have a construction cleaning business here in Tampa. And as I got older, my suffering became more and more. I reached out to multiple doctors, ended up eventually going to pain management. Pain management actually ends up with epidurals as, I guess, pre-operations, epidurals to help with the pain.
Sure.
Eventually those wear off. But what really takes place over your life when you're a chronic pain sufferer with your low back, neck, or mid-back, legs, feet, is that you end up pretty much becoming a legalized narcotic drug head.
Right.
I ended up personally on hundreds of milligrams a day of oxycodone,
Right.
OxyContin, morphine, Soma, sleeping sedatives.
And these are drugs that kill people.
Yes.
I mean, they're stronger than heroin. Some of them.
They are.
Yeah.
And I was taking OxyContin at night. I was taking somewhere in the vicinity of almost 120 to 160 milligrams of oxycodone a day.
And this was just to deal with your pain.
Just to deal with my pain situation. I've had people tell me, well, you suffer from depression, and this is where your pain is coming from. I've actually gone to see a psychiatrist. I've had multiple hospitalizations where I've had to be carried out on a stretcher, call 911, be taken to local hospitals here in Tampa, just to get a shot for relief.
Wow.
And it devastated my life. When you have chronic pain such as I suffered, I lost relationships, I lost my business, friendships go away, you become isolated in your life.
The pain that you were feeling, can you describe it for the listener? Was it something localized? Was it a radiating pain, a shooting pain? Can you kind of describe that?
It started with my lower back, and my MRIs eventually showed it was around L4, L5, S1 area. I was a multi-level chronic pain sufferer, and the pain was intense. It was not localized. It ran down my left leg, my right leg, through the thighs, through the calf muscles, and to both feet. And to the point where really I was bedridden for quite some time.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had gone to orthopedic surgeons.
Right.
I've gone to neurosurgeons who declined to operate on me and told me that there was nothing wrong.
Sure.
I went to another facility, and I had pretty much had given up hope and had really fallen into a deep depression over this. Deep depression. Now,
before you found Bonati, did you have surgery anywhere else, or did you just stay on all the pain meds? What was that process?
I did have surgery.
Okay.
I had several surgeries at another local institution here.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to mention the name.
That's up to you.
Okay. Well, I went to the Laser Spine Institute here locally in Tampa.
Okay.
I had 3 surgeries done there, and I had absolutely no relief.
Okay.
And I knew that within a day or two, after you come out of your anesthesia and you're able to rest and relax, I knew immediately that they didn't get me. I went back for a second surgery. I think in about a month's time, I went back for a second surgery. And about two months after that, I went back for a third surgery.
All right.
When I was there, I did not have the same doctor operate on me. I had multiple doctors that operated on me.
Right.
I also spent time at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota for holistic healing, to help me get off the narcotics and to try to train your body on how to move again without pain. Not possible.
Yeah.
So obviously, you were in pain. How was it that you found the Bonati Institute?
I've been living locally in Tampa now for 20-something years.
Okay.
I've seen Dr. Bonati's commercials on TV. I've heard testimonials on TV and also on the radio. And a friend of mine actually just a couple of weeks ago said, why don't you try the Bonati Spine Institute? Well, he's only 15 miles from where I lived.
Sure.
And after coming I was driving down one day, and I decided to stop in, and within, I think, 4 or 5 days, I was in the operating room with Dr. Bonati, and I can honestly tell you right here, I am so grateful to you because I had given up hope, and I knew right after my first surgery with Dr. Bonati, the pain level had virtually disappeared.
And so what was the actual procedure like?
The procedure was easy. The people were very, very genuine, very, very helpful. From the moment you walk in the door, they make you feel very comfortable. And you don't feel like a number, as I did at the Laser Spine Institute. You felt comfortable and at ease with everybody that I spoke with. And when I actually met Dr. Bonatti, I felt him to be very humble, very open, and very genuine man who was concerned about me. And I couldn't have been more happy about just walking through the door. I didn't even make an appointment. I walked in the door.
What was that evaluation process like when you met with him first, and this is previous to surgery? Did you feel as though he understood where the pain was coming from?
He knew immediately where the pain was coming from. I had brought in my MRIs, which you need to do.
Right.
Of course, bring in your medical records or MRIs if you have them. And Dr. Bonatti very, very quickly was able to recognize where my issues were located in my back and explain to me step by step exactly what he would do for me with regard to the procedures that he was going to perform on me. So it was a very genuine and a very comfortable atmosphere to be in.
Okay, let's go back to the actual surgery itself. Do you remember being interactive with the doctor during surgery?
Yes.
And did you watch?
Well,
some people do, some they don't.
Kimberly,
so it's okay.
I can't say that I could watch myself under surgery.
Right.
The option is there for you. I don't think that I had the intestinal fortitude to watch. Some people find that more creative and interesting.
Right.
I'm not one of those people.
Okay.
However, I was interactive with the whole staff. I was interactive with Dr. Bonatti. I was interactive with my anesthesiologist and the other professionals that were in the room at the time.
Did you know why that was of such benefit versus being put completely under with general anesthesia?
All my other anesthesias and also my epidurals, I was completely put out through a drug called propofol, I believe it is, and you're knocked out altogether. And I felt interactive because Dr. Bonatti would speak to me and ask me where my pain was, where I was experiencing it during the procedure. And I was also felt comfortable at the time. I did not feel any pain at all during the procedure, even though I guess you're semi-conscious awake.
Yeah, the conscious IV sedation. Yes.
Okay, you're awake, but you're not feeling the pain.
And you said that you felt immediate pain relief. How long was your recovery time?
My last operation was just 2 weeks ago.
I was going to say, this is fairly recently,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
And here you are sitting in front of us, taking pictures of the studio, hanging out.
Hanging out.
What were some of the things you could do after your surgery that you hadn't really been able to partake in?
Actually, I was able to drive to a supermarket and not afraid of being in pain about going to the supermarket. I've been able to walk down to the mailbox. You know, you have to take things slowly and gently after surgery.
Sure.
But the pain, the operational pain, is very, very minimal compared to if you're a chronic pain sufferer and you deal with this on a daily basis. This is nothing. This is a walk in the park.
Did your family, because you said you lost some of those people closest to you because of your pain.
I did.
Have they seen a difference?
No, but
Okay.
certainly my friends that I've been in touch with
Right.
over the years, friends that I've had for 30 years that I've known from college,
Sure.
relatives, I've all talked to them either via
Right.
Facebook or by phone.
Right.
I've also talked to a couple of friends of mine that are experiencing back problems right
Okay.
now, and I've already referred them to the Bonatti Spine Institute to get checked out. But I'm so relieved that people are happy for me again,
Yes.
that I have the opportunity to get my life back when I was hopeless and felt helpless and really had no place to turn to. Now I feel that I'm one step closer to getting better in my life, whereas for the past 15 years of my life has been pure agony. So, yeah,
That's great.
It's an amazing difference.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you very much. We're coming up on a break.
Yeah.
Amazing story. Thank you for taking the time
Thank
to come
you.
down here to share yours.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Dr. Bonatti.
Continued good health.
Thank you.
Well, you heard it here. I would like to say these stories, one right after another, week upon week, month after month, year after year. These are the types of results that we see. If you or someone you know is suffering with neck, back, or sciatic pain, they can reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483, or Bonati.com. Stay tuned. We're going to have Dr. Norman Doidridge about the brain's way of healing coming up after the break. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results, no pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone, nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Well, thank you for watching and listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our friend and executive producer, Ethan Euchre.
I am here.
And we're kind of giggling from the behind-the-scenes stuff. But
if people only knew what goes on, it's a circus.
Across from me, I have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute. And on the line, we're excited because we have Dr. Norman Doidridge.
Yes.
All right. First time I've pronounced your name properly. New York Times bestselling author of The Brain That Changes Itself. And this is what has been called the best book on the brain ever written for the general public. And he's here to discuss his follow-up on the brain's way of healing. So thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
So, Doctor, why don't you tell us some of the brain's ways of healing?
Well, sure, but let me just say just a few words as to why this is coming out now.
Okay.
For about 100 years, the general thinking in mainstream neuroscience was that brains were like machines in some respects. And the master analogy was that it was like an electrical machine with circuitry, and the teaching for those of us who went to medical school most of the time was that the circuitry was hardwired, and it couldn't be changed. And in recent decades, principally in neuroscience labs, we've been able we, the Royal We of Science, has been able to demonstrate that the circuitry can be rewired. And not only can it be rewired, but that when we learn skills or learn new things, the brain is always rewiring itself, meaning changing its connections.
Ooh.
And what I describe in this book are what I call the stages of neuroplastic healing. So neuroplasticity means neuro is for neuron, the nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord and throughout the rest of the body. And plasticity means changeable, adaptable, and modifiable.
Okay.
And neuroplasticity doesn't mean just any kind of change. It means change driven by activity in the brain, largely through what we do in our everyday lives and through mental experience. In labs, it's possible to change brain cells artificially, but in real life, it's a response to what's going on around us. And I describe 5 stages in neuroplastic healing.
Okay.
The first one has to do with cellular changes. The second one has to do with methods of stimulating brain circuitry that goes dormant when the brain is damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Then I describe how it can be modulated so that the cells aren't firing too much or too little. And then rest periods where they build up energy, and finally when they are ready to learn again. And these are methods that can now help patients with a wide array of brain problems: Parkinson's, MS, chronic pain, learning disorders, autism, traumatic brain injury.
Yeah, Dr. Deutsch, I read that a lot of people, that as long as they keep their minds occupied, whether it's through reading or doing puzzles and things like that, well into their 80s and 90s, it keeps their brain younger, fresher, and staves off aging. Now, that's kind of what you're talking about, right? Keeping the mind active.
Well, the best ways to be, there's active and there's active. The best ways to be active, is to do something which puts demand on the brain. Just the way when you want to improve your cardiac function, you might do some interval training. What happens is most of us, once we hit middle age, start to spend a lot of time replaying already mastered skills. We learn some dances or to play some songs on the guitar. We get together with our friends, we dance the old dances and play those songs. Or we learn to read the paper, and now we read the paper, and we think that's active. The kind of activity that will really keep your brain healthy are of 2 forms. Those that are much more demanding, like learning a new language or learning a new dance or learning to play a new instrument, and physical activity, which triggers brain growth factors and even some new cells in the brain. So those kinds of mental activities that are challenging, like learning a new dance or learning a new language. Remember how hard it was to learn vocabulary as a kid, or as a young adult, rather? Those are the ones you want to do, or certain kinds of brain exercises developed by neuroscientists that are as demanding as that.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Now, what are some of the tips that you could give to people, some specific examples, and what are some of the success rates that you've seen with things like MS and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's?
Well, I don't describe success rates with Alzheimer's. What I describe with Alzheimer's is the ability to reduce risk. A very, very fine study, and this is not a one-time study. There have been many, many studies of exercise and reducing risk of dementia. But the Cochrane Institute, which is a gold standard in many medical research studies, did a 30-year study of general healthy activities and reducing risk of dementia. And they found that you can reduce the risk of dementia by 60%, which is a staggering amount, if you do 4 of the 5 following activities. Number 1 is exercise, like walking 2 miles a day. So if you walk to work and walk back, a mile there and a mile back, you've done enough.
Wow.
It doesn't, 5 days a week. It doesn't have to be brutal.
That's all it takes.
The other things are not smoking, not drinking too much, being a normal weight, and eating lots of fruits and vegetables as opposed to processed foods. They followed almost 2,300 men, and this is just an extraordinary breakthrough. And, we're expecting that the breakthroughs are coming from high-tech things, but really living according to nature and not moving around in machines all the time is the easiest way to reduce the risk. If any pill did that, we would be talking about it at every conversation if we were fretful 50-year-olds.
Yeah, it's certainly very interesting concept of neuroplasticity. We are out of time, though. Dr. Norman Doidge, Brain's Way of Healing, New York Times bestselling author. I believe this just hit the bestseller list, too, didn't it?
Yep.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on that, and we encourage everybody to go pick up the book, all right?
Thank you.
You have a great day, Doctor.
You take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You just keep hearing amazing things that go on with the brain.
Yeah, and you know what? I always point to my grandfather and even my great-grandfather. Yeah. My great-grandfather was 96 out playing golf, and he had a sense of humor, and he laughed a lot. And I really think a lot of it has to do with your mental state. And
my dad's a musician.
Yeah.
And so he loves language and he loves learning new instruments. So I guess that's why he's living a long, healthy life.
Keeps you young.
Yeah. Well, you're listening to American Medicine Today. Coming up after the break, you're going to hear from former Lieutenant Governor of New York, Betsy McCaughey, and we're going to find out how you can beat Obamacare. I know you're going to be happy about that, Dr. Bonati. Stay tuned. You're listening to American Medicine Today. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Well, thank you for joining us for American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our friend and executive radio producer, Ethan Euchre.
Glad to be here, as always.
We have finally in the chair our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff.
It's good to be in the chair.
Well,
I was waiting to see if he'd forget to turn his darn mic on again, because he does it all the time. Yeah. But you were good, so I'm not throwing stones.
It's good today. Thank you.
Good job, senior fellow.
And across from us,
still early.
We have the more senior fellow.
The most senior.
The most senior fellow.
Dr. Bonatti, I think that's being...
I think I'm going to be replaced in just a
I think she's being nice. You and are being calling you an fired. old guy.
We have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonatti.
What meter is that?
That's a crazy meter.
Doc, I think you're going to
That's
like...
a whole other subject. You're going to like this.
You're going to like
guest.
this guest we got.
Hey, wait a minute, Jeff. Where are you? On the seat or in the seat?
I think he's in the seat, but
You're
right
in the
now,
seat.
but right now on the radio, joining us is former Lieutenant Governor of New York City, Betsy McCoy, or of New York rather, Betsy. So thank you for joining us.
Join you.
Yes, and it's a topic we are so passionate about on the show: beating Obamacare. Tell us how.
Actually, one quick
Save
thing.
us.
One quick thing first, Betsy. Before we hit your book, you were on that LaGuardia plane that slid off the runway, right?
I was. I was actually on the plane right behind it.
So you got
it just de-iced and taxied out, and when that plane went off the runway, our all the flights were canceled. We had to limp back to the gate as well.
Wow.
So I had to fly. I'm in Florida today, and I had to fly to Florida via New Jersey to Boston and then down to Fort Lauderdale.
Does that make sense?
All the airports in New York closed up.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, the reason we got you here is the book, Beating Obamacare. It's a topic near and dear to Dr. Bonatti's heart. Just tell us a little bit, especially with the Supreme...
Well, this was a big week for Obamacare because on Wednesday, Obamacare was back in the Supreme Court. This is our second bite at the apple. And the argument is that the Obama administration is not implementing this law according to the law. The law says that only the states that set up their own exchanges, instead of relying on the federal healthcare.gov, can provide subsidies for their residents. Well, only 14 states ever opened up those exchanges. But the IRS on its own, obviously under the instructions of the president, has handed out these subsidies in all 50 states. That's against the law, and that's what's being decided in the Supreme Court. We won't hear the ruling until late June or early July, but the arguments were actually made before the 9 justices this Wednesday.
I'm amazed at how long it takes for things to happen.
That's what I'm just counting out. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
That many months?
First week of March, and
they're going to make the decision. They're going to make the decision probably in the next week, and write it soon thereafter. But they always hold the most controversial decisions to the last day of the term. Then all the justices skedaddle. They go on vacations to places like Italy, and they don't have to hear from the
They get out of Huck.
crowd.
Get out of Dodge.
Or Dodge, that's it. What did I say, Huck?
They drop a bomb and get out of Dodge. I see.
Yeah, that's it.
So
needs to be a re-election for those ones too.
Yeah, right. So Betsy, give me your thoughts. What do you think? I know the media, the liberal media especially, has been painting a huge picture of devastation and chaos if this law gets
I'm glad
repealed.
you're asking about that because that's very misleading. First, let's start with the basics. No poor person is going to lose their health insurance because of this ruling, no matter how it goes. 9 out of 10 people who gained health insurance under Obamacare were signed up for Medicaid. And this ruling will have absolutely no impact on Medicaid. It will impact a small number, about 5.5 million people who signed up for these Obamacare private health plans and only paid about a quarter of the actual cost of them. Taxpayers funded the other 3/4. That's a hefty subsidy, especially if it's against the law, right? So, but the Republicans in Congress have already put forward a plan to give them temporary assistance while Congress repairs this law. So the fact is, there isn't going to be all this devastation. The liberals really, they conducted a full court press, inundating the justices with briefs and all kinds of op-eds in the newspapers and television programs saying how many people are going to be affected, but in fact it's just not true.
Were you aware that they sat in a majority of the seats open to the public?
Well, that's Congress? Right. They're pretty good at doing that kind of thing. But here's the other really important thing to know. If the Supreme Court justices rule, as I hope they will, in a way that's faithful to the letter of the law and strikes down the doling out of those subsidies in the states that didn't set up exchanges. If the court rules that way, it will be a big win for employers and for people looking for a full-time job. Because once the subsidies are gone, so is the employer mandate, so are the penalties for people who don't have insurance. So if you decided not to have insurance, you're not going to be paying that 2% of your adjusted gross income next year as a penalty. And if you're looking for full-time work and you're stuck in a part-time job, you're going to have a better shot at getting full-time job once the employer mandate is gone, because that's been a powerful incentive for employers not to hire more people.
There's something in here. It's called Section 3000A of the Health Law awards bonus points to hospitals that spend the least per senior.
That's one of my least favorite parts of this law. That's right. It's called value-based purchasing. Sounds good, doesn't it? But what it really says is we're going to give bonus points to the hospitals that spend the least per senior. They call that a measure of quality. But we know from the evidence that it's just the opposite. In fact, there was an article, a big study that was published in the Archives of Internal Medicine back in 2011. It was a study of all the hospitals in California, very big study. And it showed that the hospitals that are in the bottom quintile, the bottom fifth for spending per senior, had much higher death rates from pneumonia, congestive heart failure, other common maladies of seniors. They had a worse chance of making it out of the hospital and getting home again.
Wow.
And the other thing it says here in the prep is you should be careful about giving your address, tax information, and social security number to a navigator because, get this, folks, hope you have your ears open, there haven't been background checked
on these navigators.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in many of the states,
and Sebelius,
Obamacare people said, well, we don't want to limit these navigator jobs. We want anybody to be able to qualify, even
felons
if you
included.
Have a criminal record. Can you imagine?
Yes. Yeah. You know, because it's the felon's dream. They don't want to squash the dream of the felon.
Well, Obama wants to give everybody a job. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. But we shouldn't put the felons in the front of the line.
I agree.
Exactly. Right.
So, Betsy, where do you see this going? Because as far as the oral arguments that took place were concerned...
Right. Well, right now, of course, it's always hard to handicap how the Supreme Court will vote. We've learned from the past not to do that. But it does seem as if this time the swing vote is Anthony Kennedy. That's often the case. And Kennedy spoke quite a bit during the oral arguments, but he said things that would indicate he might vote with us, and he said things that indicated he might vote with the administration. So it's very hard to say how this vote is going to come out. If the court rules in a way that is faithful to the letter of the law, if they take seriously their job to make sure that the President of the United States faithfully executes the law, then we will win the case. Even Kennedy said our reading of the law is the accurate one.
Doc.
There's one other thing that I see on here and I bring it up because Dr. Bonati talks about this all the time. We see Obamacare negatively affecting Medicare, and it says here the expansion of Medicaid and the downsizing of Medicare.
Oh, well, remember that cuts to Medicare pay for over half this law.
Correct.
Seniors are bearing the brunt here. This is robbing grandma to spread the wealth.
Right.
The law takes over $700 billion out of Medicare over one decade and moves it over to fund the expansion of Medicaid, plus these questionable subsidies on the state exchanges.
Betsy, but the real idea of Obama is to destroy Medicare. They want, like all the socialistic type of medicine, they want that
the lives of seniors.
Yeah, they want to destroy Medicare, so the old people will just have no services or very poor services, so they die. Yes. And then the same thing is going to happen with pediatrics.
War. That's right. It is an assault on the elderly generation, even though they're the ones who made this country great. They've paid their taxes. and they deserve this Medicare. They earned it. But Obama is taking it away from them.
Yeah, but the problem is these people need to be documented. The problem with them is not Obamacare, is that the service that today is being presented to Medicare, and the people who has Medicare, they can go to a doctor and then they receive fee for service. Then suddenly it's going to be a change on that one, and it's going to be as much as you can save for Medicare, then you're going to have that service. So they are going to be a very poor service, and Medicare is going to be practically absorbed in some type of Medicaid system or some type of Obamacare system, and the problem is it's no service for them.
That's right. And as you just pointed out, Doctor, what they're doing is shifting the financial risk. What they're saying to a doctor is, I'm going to give you or your group practice a lump sum to take care of so many patients. And what you spend on those patients comes out of your own pocket at the end of the year. It sets up a conflict of interest between the patient and the person the patient needs to be able to trust the doctor.
Yeah, well, I really think, despite that, I think we need to bring you back to talk a little bit more, because we are very much on the top of the line. But this situation, I would really like to invite you again. This is an incredible discussion that needs to be hammered all the time so that people start to realize what's going on.
Yep, Betsy, we'll have you on again.
I'd be delighted to come back anytime.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Well, we'll be in touch, and obviously, like you mentioned before, it won't be until June until we have an official decision anyway, so we will get you back on. Betsy McCoy, former Lieutenant Governor of New York, author of Beating Obamacare. Appreciate it. And she's out just like that.
Well, exciting stuff, but this is just a topic that doesn't stop. It's the topic that just keeps on giving.
Keeps on taking.
He's corruption.
Exactly. Well, he gives. Yeah, exactly. He gives away everybody else's.
Well, it's a Robin Hood.
Kind of, yeah.
All right, we're up against the break, guys.
Coming up next, you're going to see what's new in American medicine today, so stay tuned. You're listening to American Medicine Today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it. Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Well, you're listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our executive radio producer, Ethan Euchre.
Here I am in the flesh.
Senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff.
Present, accounted for, and feeling very senior today.
Excellent.
And across from me, we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati. And, well, this is your fun segment. You're going to hear what's new in American medicine today.
Let's look at what's new in medicine today, featuring Alfred Bonati, MD.
So why don't you talk about this Obamacare's new Medicare payment plan rations and how they second-guess doctors?
Well, one of the things that we need to remember is that you keep your doctor and you keep your insurance. Mm-hmm. Well, now you don't keep your Medicare either, right? Mm-hmm. Because the problem with Medicare is disastrous. Mm-hmm. The situation is that's why they removed so much money from Medicare, but nobody understood why they were doing that. Mm-hmm. They thought it was maybe some maneuver to fund Obamacare in the beginning. Or something. No. This is a structure to destroy Medicare. Mm-hmm. Medicare is a system that allows the individual who pays for this service through all his life, allows to have a fee for service in healthcare.
Okay.
Well, Obama, very sneaky underneath, create and start to remove money from Medicare. So Medicare becomes more fragile, and the elderly will need to pay more money to continue with this healthcare of fee for service. The problem is that is not the end of this. The end is Medicare is going to disappear. Mm-hmm. The idea is to don't have pediatric services, neither elderly service.
Right.
Because every socialistic society in healthcare only takes care of the people who can provide economy to the system to maintain that healthcare. Right. So the elderly is being relegated to you die now. Mm-hmm. And the children is being relegated, I hope you survive. So what happened is pediatrics has no input and no interest on socialistic societies. Mm-hmm. And the elderly, they already serve their lives, but now that they need to collect to survive in health, no, we cannot afford that because it's too expensive. So the quality of the system is going to be relegated to pain medications and probably a little bit of a physical therapy and probably a blessing, some holy water or something like that. Because the problem is they are not going to be available. They pay for service.
So what you're saying is people have to pray that they're going to get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a very new age approach.
Wow. Yeah.
Holistic healing.
Well,
I mean, they're talking about finding hospitals and whatever institutions if the patients come back, if they're readmitted
too soon.
But that's exactly the process. The process is if you have X amount of dollars. This amount of dollars are going to be assigned to a hospital. The same thing they're going to be assigned to a quote-unquote a new generation of physicians because actually our group will not accept this trash, okay? Because we serve the patient.
Right.
But the new generation of physicians are going to be the ones that they call health providers. Well, those health providers are a specific type of people, and the name of that is a socialistic name. So these people are going to be siding with the government to don't deliver health care.
Right, because their pockets won't be lined by the government's money.
Well, they are going to give you $10 to
if
serve.
They provide health care.
If you go to $11, you need to pay from your own pocket.
Exactly.
So the guys have no interest on serve you, has an interest on don't serve you and keep the money.
Of course.
So it's a conflict of interest in the healthcare.
Right.
At the same time, the same thing happens. That is on your people who has the service. The people who has not the service, like the elderly, they don't serve them because they go to the hospital, and if this person has any sort of readmission, the hospital now is going to lose the money, but at the same time, they're going to discount the money from the people who's been admitted and the people who's been readmitted, so that hospital is not going to have money. They're not going to pay them for.
Right.
And they're going to penalize that.
They hold you hostage to playing their dirty games.
Exactly.
It sounds like a financial shell game.
Yes,
well,
it is.
The shell.
It's not a financial shell. It's a financial
exactly.
Tactics to really don't deliver healthcare. Socialistic societies do not deliver healthcare. They lie on their reports. I mean, are you going to tell me that the statistics of the government are kosher?
No,
they're not. Okay.
But the other part of this too, Dr. Bonati, is that when your specialized physician, your doctor, is telling you, here's your course of treatment, and all of a sudden they step in and they go, we don't care what your doctor's told you. Not going to cover it. Not going to allow it.
Well,
what do you do?
You already have a type.
You start praying.
Yeah. Well, you already have a type of a group that they are vendors. They are hired by Medicare, quote unquote, governmental Medicare.
Right.
So these vendors are going to be rewarded not for giving you health care, for avoiding that you are being treated.
Yes.
So these people are going to make money. So let me tell you very clearly, if you hire a group to don't deliver the health care, we start to see already in the insurance companies that sometimes a patient needs service and you need to call somebody who is poorly trained, who is only told you are going to deny service.
Right.
Okay. And that is the application of the insurance today.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be 10 times more drastic with Medicare because it's governmental. You don't have the opportunity to sue the government, but yes, you have the opportunity to sue an insurance company who's misbehaving.
Well, Rod Serling got it right when they came up with that Twilight Zone one. I know I've said it to the point of absurdity, but you are obsolete. And it was always the elderly. You've outlived your usefulness.
Yeah,
you paid into the system, but bye-bye. Yeah. Well, that about wraps up our show.
We've outlived our usefulness.
I know.
For today.
Hopefully you'll find more use for us next week. You can check us out nationally on Bloomberg Saturdays and Sundays. Check your local listings, and here locally, WFTS ABC 28, Saturdays at 7. You can tweet at Dr. Bonati or hashtag AMT and search iHeartRadio, keyword Bonati, keyword spine.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.